Hello, friends. Lucy and I back for part two of finding a private label item, sourcing the private label item, creating the listing for it. And so today we're going to show quickly a software that I've been using that is just very, very interesting to me, robust. I had never heard about it until this year. I'm not even sure how long it's been around. And then we're going to be talking about building listings for Amazon in today's new landscape with AI and using Amazon's Rufus AI, which is now a big, strong part of your listings being discovered. There's so many ways to get your listing discovered to where AI will even suggest your listing. So you need to be compliant with these things if you want to be found. It's not required, but you should, because this is the new landscape, whether we like it or not. So we have to train ourselves with that. Is there anything you wanted to jump in on before I start sharing stuff, or you share stuff?
No, I think that's really good. We're going to be talking about like just how to build your listing, where to do it, and kind of efficient ways to go about making a listing. So let me share this here first for the AMZ Scout. You wanted to talk about this one first?
Yeah, so I actually will show it. I have it, and so I was actually going to show how it works.
Okay.
So I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to. Okay. So, all right. Am I on Amazon here? Or is that what you're seeing?
Yes.
Okay. So this is called Amazon Scout. I do have an affiliate link if anybody should want to try it. I think it's very cool. So what I did, and it's running its AI portion of it, is I typed in hair perfumes because I know that is currently trending. I will show you how I got to this part. I had already pushed the button so I would have something ready to show you. So Amazon Scout has AI that is going to be scanning the product search that I entered, which in this case is hair perfume. It's kind of a new trending thing that I'm aware of. So it's giving us its AI breakdown analysis for hair perfume, and it's telling me the trend analysis that there's high demand for hair perfumes. It lets us know if these things are seasonal or not. It gives us insight on it. It gives us sales velocity, and this brand is really the leader of hair perfumes. There's not a lot of competition, and so it's giving us an example of their product. And it's estimating that they have had 47,000 units sold. How many variants they have. It's just giving us an entire breakdown of hair perfume. It gives us a listing quality score. I mean, it just gives us a wealth of information. So without reading down everything on here, I just wanted you to see how AI really breaks it down. Now, what it also does, it will give me on this tab a product insight. So then it's going to analyze still the hair perfume. It's not changing categories. And then the last tab is it gives us where we can improve on it. So this tab gives us its strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It lets us know that it's analyzing it based off this popular product. And it says it has a high net margin of over 61%, indicating strong profitability. So we can see that a product like this would look good. Then it breaks down weaknesses. It's limited to one seller, which may impact product distribution and availability. And there's only one seller because this brand doesn't allow third-party sellers. And it has relatively high FBA fees of about $6. So here are the opportunities on here, and here would be the threats. So it breaks it down, your pros and your cons. When we look at improvement, it is analyzing based off of reviews that people have left on the listing, the different kind of feedback. it pulls this information off of Amazon, and it gives us a tip for improvement is to introduce a travel friendly set. And that's because none exists. And so that's probably not based off of a feedback, but AI just knows like, oh, well, it doesn't come in these other sizes. And then it gives you the rationale why it's giving you this tip for improvement and how it would impact your metrics. I think this is just incredibly cool that this tool offers this. And then you can save this information to a clipboard if this is something that you would like to know about. Now, it also gives us this AI score, this niche. It says it's a nice niche. So this gives us scores between 1 and 10. So 8 is pretty high on the scale. Now, this is also part of the software, this box right here. And this AI niche analysis is where what I clicked in order for you guys to see what I just shared. Now, what it also does, if you are to the point where we're talking about today about building our listing, I can click on the button here that says best keywords. So any listing that you're working on, you can go to your competitors page, the different listings. Today's example is just hair perfume. And I can click on the best keywords, and it is going to start importing all of the keywords that are, making the sales, that are on the listing. For whatever reason, it's not giving me my request, but it pulls that data. And then what we can do is use that when we are building our listings. So it is just an additional research tool on top of what we used last week for using the AI research tool that is actually linked to Alibaba. This is a research tool that is just built into every listing on Amazon. And it really allows you to look at all of your competition. It ranks that type of product or category. It gives you just that instant success score right on the page. So you can quickly move along before you know how we have to do it manually. It's a real time saver. And then having that built-in AI feature for it to break it down to us, the pros, the cons, give us more ideas, I think is just an invaluable tool.
That is really, really neat. I was looking at while you were doing so AMZ Scout, there's different things to sign up for here. I haven't looked at them in a while.
That software does a lot. I mean, I only gave you just a little taste of what it does because it's relevant to what we're working on today.
I mean, the pack for private label is only $99 for the year. That's less than $10 a month. So
yeah, that
might be something that you're interested in. And then I had to look it up. I did not even know what hair perfume was.
I bought a bottle of it just so that Kitsch brand down there. I bought a bottle of it, not because I was wanting hair perfume necessarily, but I know that it's very hot. It's very trending. And I wanted to see how is it different than real perfume, body spray, like what's it about? So I should have brought that downstairs with me because I actually have a bottle of it. And it's really body spray. I mean, honest to God, it is just body spray. And it smells really good. I mean, that brand smells really good. This is what is genius about a product like this, is it is only a portion of what standard body spray bottles come in. I can't think of the Victoria's Secret ones. And what's the popular body spray brand?
Bath and Body Works.
Bath and Body. It is nothing different than that. It is nothing different than that. All it is less. You get a lot less.
You get less for more.
And you pay about the same or if not more. And it's really genius. It is just a genius product idea. And that's all it is.
I am just amazed. I think people at this point are just coming up with stuff to sell. I don't know. Okay, but I did want to pull this because I wanted to pick apart. There's two, we're going to get into building the listing here, but when you're looking at pictures, so we'll circle back here. There are two things that I love to have ChatGPT do. One is infographics and one is lifestyle image. And I had to write those down on my Post-it because I always am forgetting those
words.
Those words. I'll sit down. I'm like, what is that? I need that. Okay. So infographic is like this, where You have your product there, and then it has a couple of bullet points. And what I like to do is find a product similar to mine and then say, okay, use this picture as reference, and then here's a picture of my product, and I want 3 bullet points about, whatever it is. Maybe it's not beachy and serene fragrance, maybe it's, I don't know, roses and tulips or something, and it will generate you something very similar to this. Now, I do have, sometimes they come back and like the size of the product is wrong, or it's cut off, or sometimes you have to play with it a little bit, but it is really easy to have AI generate these types of infographics. Now, when I was doing product things, I'll say even 5 years, right before AI came out, Canva was my go-to. And even though Canva is a really great product, really great software to use, I love my Canva. I still am not like the creative person that can put this type of stuff together. And there's a lot of people out there on Fiverr and in the marketing world that will, put together offers for private label people on, we will put together, 3 infographics and 4 lifestyles and, great product pictures for you. And that's one of the jobs that AI is probably going to eliminate, because within 10 minutes, I can have all of that stuff done for a small, I think most of the AI stuff for the upper ones are like $10, $15 a month. And it's not even, you can get this type of picture for your product in 5 minutes. Okay, so this is an infographic one. This is not quite lifestyle. Let me see if there's a lifestyle. Would you call this lifestyle?
Sort of, because there is a person in there. But generally, we relate lifestyle to if we are doing a pair of running shoes or a water bottle, and then there's a woman with her jogging outfit on in a park while having her water bottle in hand, or her running shoes on her feet. Lifestyle is generally how we use it in our life. Like if she was spraying it on her hair, or right.
And I've done the lifestyle with the ChatGPT 2, where I've said, show me a picture of a young lady in mid-20s spraying this on her hair. And
yeah, I actually have, I actually can show how I've had AI create images. I have that pulled up on my computer if you want me to share that.
Sure.
All right, so I did this for actually a class that I was working with. And I don't know if I've shared it here on YouTube prior, but I took a product off of Alibaba. It was a coffee grinder. And so now I'm using Google Gemini, which this is what the tool called Nano Banana. So, I mean, you could use ChatGPT. In this case, I'm using Nano Banana. So these 2 little photos here are what I uploaded to Google Gemini. And I told it, create a clean product photo rendering of this product to be used as the primary image on an Amazon listing. So as you can see, my little one here it was on a table. This one was already on a pure white background. And so it didn't have to do much, but it did kind of add this little shadow to it. Then I told it, I would like you to put this coffee grinder on a kitchen counter with sunlight coming through the window to look like morning sun. Display the grinder next to a coffee pot. And it gave me this. And I think that looks fabulous. Now, I could do something like this in Canva. It would never be as perfect because Canva doesn't allow me to say like angle something. It wouldn't quite create the correct sunlight. You see where it has correct shadowing, right, against these items. Yeah. Canva couldn't give me that. Canva also can't give me this perfectly done steam if the coffee pot image did not already have the steam. So it is much more superior than Canva. However, you would have to download this image, which you can, then upload it into Canva so you can have the correct pixel dimensions. So I do
say that.
Yeah, I do 1800 pixel by 1800 pixel is my settings in Canva for my images. But this image I think is beautiful. And so then I told it how you're talking about the infographics. I would like an infographic image for my grinder. Here are the Amazon bullet points for the information because I wanted to have as much information as possible. Now, if we drop this down, look at all the information I gave it, a lot. And it gave me this infographic. Now I thought, this infographic is nice, but what if I want the background to be pure white and not have this cute little coffee bean and tan background that it gave me? Another thing with Nano Banana that can be superior to ChatGPT is it doesn't give you weird words. Sometimes ChatGPT starts to make up its own language and can have misspellings. So I do want to point that out. So I asked it to make it a pure white background, and it did. It kept everything the same, and it gave me a pure white background. It also kept true to the product, to the original image, which sometimes with AI, it can start to change your image. Now, Google Gemini did eventually change my item. It didn't stay true to form, but it took a few photos before it started doing that. Then I asked it, can you show this item being given as a gift? Now, before I show you the image, I want to point out I did not give it enough details. And that is why better details produce better results, because it gave it in this, it's beautiful. It is beautiful being given as a gift. But I thought, would a shopper be confused thinking that they're getting this actual box? And so it made me think, should I change my box and actually have it in a branded box? So then I said, can you create a branded box for my coffee grinder? The brand name is Coffee Grind. Well, it did change the box a little bit, and it put Coffee Grind on it because I thought, well, maybe that can be my branding on my box, right? And then I said, I want a new image of my item in a grouping that shows it comes in a branded non-Christmas box with a nice instruction manual. And voila, it gave me this. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool. So I could maybe start building my packaging like this, but this looks a bit like a shoe box. We got a window with the cutouts. But if I had actually uploaded to Google Gemini my actual branded box and my actual pamphlet, it could make this image. And I think these images are fantastic. As you see, we're still holding true to what my grinder looks like. Then
sorry, let me cut in for a second. Go back up to the picture real quick.
Yeah.
This goes into when you're working with your supplier. Let's say that you have the idea for the coffee grinder, but you're not sure what kind of branded box. You could use this to create images on saying, this is kind of where I'm going with my product.
Yeah.
I want a book that kind of looks like this. I want a box that kind of looks like this.
Yeah.
And you can send these to your manufacturer to also have that made for packaging and branding purposes.
I think these images are great. So then I asked it, can you make me a quadrant image explaining the features? Keep it simple. And so this is yet kind of an infographic, and it just gave me this little quadrant. And I wasn't specific to what I wanted it to do. And it's now taking previous information. It's now showing my branded box. It's deciding what is going to be best for me, right? Because I'm not really giving it instructions. I just want to see what's it going to do. And then I wanted it to make me a quadrant image of the different grinds and to keep the background pure white. So it gave me the different kind of grinds the machine could do. I didn't really love how cartoonish these looked because this looked like stones, right?
Or something else, but yeah.
Yeah, but I did like that it explained that this kind of powdery grind is ideal for espresso, or like this kind is ideal for drip coffee makers. So I did like that it broke down what type of coffee brewing these types of grinds were for. So I did like that. But then I wanted it to make me real coffee grind and not those SVG styles. But it couldn't quite do it. These now look like a chunks of chocolate. And these ones still kind of. So I thought I would have to give it more, I would have to get better at explaining, or maybe find images myself online and upload it and have it replace that. then I decided to ask AI. I went into ChatGPT and I asked it, can you please give me instructions for, this type of a outcome? And so you can also use AI to tell you what to ask it to give you what you want. So I said, I want a close-up, high-key studio photograph of the coffee grinder positioned at a 3/4 angle. Use a 50 mm lens perspective with a soft ground shadow to anchor the product. The background must be pure white. And there's more, like there's a little bit more instructions. And it gave me this. But if you notice, it's
That's not right.
missing the bottom
Yeah.
glass piece.
Oh.
You see, so it looked very true to form as to what it was, but I was like, hey, the glass little jar at the bottom is not there anymore. And that's where you have to be careful and sometimes start a new chat, re-upload your photo, and then kind of start again, because then it kind of starts forgetting the longer we chat with it. I also gave it this AI generated instruction about an overhead flat lay shot, right? And I thought this one turned out cool, but again, it forgot the glass bottom. But I have realistic coffee and I do have beans, but I also didn't want that many. I only need one. I'm only selling one. I don't need 5 of these, right? So it started to do its own thing.
Yeah, it gets off.
Also a AI instructions, and this one turned out good. But again, we've defaulted to that. We're just not giving you the glass jar anymore. So I liked this one for doing this because I can do this in Canva, but this takes me a long time to drag and drop my arrows, to manually type this in. So it did it much quicker and still continuing on with you don't get a glass jar. So those would be my tips in using AI to do your images, is pay attention to those little details and don't be afraid to just start a new chat, re-upload your image, and then start with those instructions, because the first part seems to always be correct before it starts what they call hallucinating a bit.
Yes. And I mean, it's always good to play around with it, but I like going to my competitors and whoever's selling similar to what I'm doing and looking at what their graphics are and going, okay, they have, whatever, 6 graphics or 8 graphics, and they have these features or those features, because they have already, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. They are already selling thousands of units a month. And so they already know that this combination works. And then I will take their images and I will take my product and I will say, I need something similar to this, highlighting whatever features. Now, I do want to say, I don't know where the bar is right now, but if you are trying to use product pictures to get ungated or to get brand registered, etc., do not use AI generated pictures, because there are reverse ways to figure out that it is an AI generated type of picture. It's one thing to kind of show the lady spraying her hair, as a marketing thing for your customers. Nobody's going to be upset about that. And it definitely saves you a lot of time and money. You're not going to hire somebody or try to do those shots yourself. And, I'm not a professional photographer. I don't have a set. I don't have all of those tools. So using AI to make those types of listings to show how you would use the product makes sense and is not unethical. But if you wanted to, say, take your coffee grinder picture with the white background, and then you're trying to submit that to Amazon, I know that they have a lot of AI integrated, and they can figure out if you have manipulated the photo with AI. And that goes for invoices as well. You do not want to do that for those. I don't know. It's kind of like, can you get away? I wouldn't try getting away with it. That's my take on it.
Hey, and I do want to shout out, because I am trying to get better at remembering to ask you guys, if you're liking this content, please hit those thumbs up on our channels, because it does help us on YouTube, and for YouTube to know that what we're talking about is helpful.
All right. Yeah. Don't forget to do that. That helps us out.
I like likes.
We talked about pictures because pictures sell your product. Let me tell you, if you have a crummy picture, it doesn't matter if you have all the SEO in the world, you're not going to get any sales. Now, in order to get those pictures in front of your people, we've got to have a good listing. So I want to talk about this one real quick. This is a dino plushie, weighted dinosaur plushie thing. Weighted stuffed animals were hot for like a hot minute, and it's one of those things that the market is now flooded. And so when you're looking at products like that, like hair perfume or, weighted animals, I don't see them as very long-term type of products to sell. You're going to have that peak of sales during the hype, and then it's going to kind of fall off. So think about that when you are getting ready to order 5,000 or 3,000 dino plushies or however many hair perfumes, etc., that you are going to be doing. That now that it's been a couple of years, there's so many weighted dino plushies that it's hard. The market just gets saturated and it's harder to sell. I was going to say this is more, what do I call it? Lifestyle image, where you're actually showing. And then this is infographic. So this guy that I worked with, he's no longer selling, and he was quite upset because his listing got hijacked. And this is one that I helped him with, and anyhow, he was really irritated. A lot of people go to Alibaba and they see, oh, I can get this dino plushie for whatever, $5, and it's selling for $20, and I can jump on this listing. There is certain things around that are true and that are not true. And it's important to know when you're building your listing, the foundation of your listing, we're going to talk about for just a hot second here. If you are just testing the waters and you want to do a test run of like 100 products and you don't care if anything about it and it's going to be sold out and you're going to move on to something else, you can totally list things under generic. And now that they've changed the rules, nobody can jump on your generic listing anymore unless if it was already in their inventory. I know we were doing that for a while because there was some generic stuff that I'm like, don't delete the listing because we can still list on it because we're grandfathered into that one. So if you want to do it under generic, you got to know some things. One, if you ever brand, you cannot change it. You cannot change the brand. You'll have to delete it and restart. You lose all your reviews, your stars, your reviews, your tracking, your momentum of that listing. So keep that in mind. There is no way to change the brand from generic to your branded listing. Generic will keep off people that jump on. Now this one, what was his name? Dino Mushy. Okay, so he branded this under Dino Mushy. If Dino Mushy is brand registered, but other sellers have good ranking and everything, like I could probably get approved to sell Dino Mushy. So that means that I can go to Alibaba, get the same dinosaur, go and sell it under Dino Mushy, which is what happens, and kind of hijack his listing. Now, what do you do as a seller? You can write a nastygram. You can go through your brand registry and report violations. And it is a pain in the tush. I'll tell you that right now. It is a pain in the tush. Worth it. And unfortunately, with a lot of the sellers not being in the United States, there's not a whole lot of legal action you can do. And Amazon is a pain in the butt to work with to try to get that legal action done. So just keep that in mind. You will want to keep that in mind. So what I did was I typed in weighted Dino Mushy over here. You can see that there's several different ones. This one is definitely an Alibaba one. I'm looking at the pink because there's lots of different listings that are the same. So let's say I wanted to do this Dino Plush Mushy Dino. Oh my gosh, weighted dinosaur. There we go. We're just gonna call it that. Weighted dinosaur, and I have found it now on Alibaba, and the margins are pretty good, and everybody's around that $35 to $40 price range. You've got to understand that the more the market gets saturated, then these guys are going to start dropping their price to keep that competition. And I have seen races to the bottom on a lot of private label items where Dino Mushies, there was one or two sellers and everybody was happy around $38. And then all of a sudden now there's 12 Dino Mushies on there and people are selling them for $15. And as a consumer, that's nice, but as a seller, that is not nice. But for purposes of making this listing, we're going to go over here. And in Amazon, what I did was I went to the first one, category, add a product, and then I went to form. You want to go to form to get your listing going. On the left here, you can toggle between required, recommended, and all attributes. I 99% of the time stick with all attributes because I like seeing them all. I don't like having any of them collapsed down. And what I did was I uploaded the picture of the pink weighted dinosaur. I gave it a brief description, and I hit the Rufus AI and said, let's see what it will do. And it came up with this as a title. I am okay with that title. I don't really like it though. I would personally put pink in the front and maybe add a couple other little things. I don't really like the way it did its title. What do you think, Tina?
I don't think it's bad because it says large weighted dinosaur plush toy, which is what it is. Pink with orange spikes, 24-inch soft stuffed animal. So it is telling you the size, what it is, what color it is, and how big it is. So this is what Rufus likes. What would you change? You would put the color in the front, like pink large weighted dinosaur, the color.
And I would also add the weight in there.
Yeah, see, I would probably put dinosaur plush at the front.
Yeah, dinosaur plush.
Because I figure if somebody's searching, they're searching for a dinosaur plush specifically, that's what they're going to type in. So I would probably put dinosaur plush at the front personally.
I would put stuffy in there too, because a lot of kids call their little toys stuffy. Yeah. This is where you're gonna
use the tools that will extract the keywords that are making the sales. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, a couple of things about titles. They have really cracked down on not duplicating the same word in the title. Mm-hmm. So you wouldn't say large weighted dinosaur plush, pink plush with orange spikes. That second plush word in your title is going to get you flagged, and then it becomes suppressed, and then you got to go in and fix it, which I had to do this week. All right. So we generated that. Oh, okay. That's what that is. I don't know. Now we've got the product type. This is another spot that kind of hangs up people. This is going to be classified as a toy. There was a point in time where you could maybe get this under the nursery item as nursery pillow decor to bypass the toy compliance paperwork. I would never do something like that. And now you're pretty much going to need to get toy compliance paperwork. They have really cracked down on that, I would say mostly in the last Q4. And this is something you need to talk to your manufacturer about. Don't go to Amazon. Don't think you're going to bypass it. It will get reclassified. It will get reclassified into toy. And then once you are reclassified into toy and it says you need compliance paperwork, there's two options. You either submit the paperwork or you apply for an appeal. You appeal it. The appeal is hard to get. I've been successful so far, but you really need to have a good case for it. And these soft toy plushes are clearly meant for kids. It's really hard to get out of something that's clearly meant for kids. So when you're talking to your manufacturer, make sure that they know that you're going to need that toy compliance paperwork and you get it. I've had some that are like, oh, they told us it was really easy. And then once they now have 3,000 dinos going into the thing and they're trying to figure out how to get this toy compliance paperwork and it needs this testing and anyhow, it's been bad. We're going to go ahead and confirm here. Okay. I don't want my other brand names to pop up. So hold on real quick. I'm going to put generic, maybe, if it will let me. There we go. Okay. So for brand name, this is where you're going to, if you're brand registered, it will drop down and show you the different brand names. And then if you have an external product ID, a barcode, then you would put in the barcode. I can show that. Let's see here. This is nice. They've cleaned this up. So you either get ASIN or you get UPC, EIN, GTIN. Again, Doing it this way is kind of the quick and easy way, but it's not good for long term. So if you're doing short cycled, let's say you sell Christmas paper and every year you do a different Christmas paper listing, then you don't care by February if your listing's toast and you need to delete it because you're going to rebuild it at the next season. Yeah, I hate doing that, but it is what it is. If you have different variations, this is where you can do, let's say I had blue, green, and pink. You can click that. I don't really want to get into variations this week. Let's see here. Oh, great. I have been granted exemption. So I guess that's good. UPC exemption approved. I've been granted that many a times, but I guess I'm granted it again. Takes up to 1 hour. Okay. Now, Rufus did all this. These little boxes are kind of nice. You can up and down them. If you wanted to have a second paragraph, this is what I tell people. You've got to put in a little HTML, which is not hard. And it's BR in brackets and BR in brackets. The first BR is going to drop your paragraph down 1 line. So it would just be to here. A second BR drops it down like that. So then you can put in your second paragraph. Now, if I didn't have these BRs in there, then when you go see your listing, it will look like that. So keep that in mind. That's pretty much the only formatting I do. For product description, I tell people this is where, if you have A+ content, you don't really see the product description too much, but it could still be in there SEO wise. You want to answer questions down in here and put as much keywords as possible. I love building out 3 paragraphs or bullet points in this area where it will put the dimensions, the weight, all the specs to it, especially if you're doing anything like this weighted thing. We're going to need to know, what is the material? Is it machine washable? Is it allergy friendly? What's the weight? What's the size? What's the dimensions? All of those things you want to put into the product description so that your customer can get those answers questioned. Now, and get those questions
answered. It was like dyslexic moment.
Yes. All right. Now, the bullet points, I'm going to go back over to this one. Let me pick a different one. Let's go on to this one. All right. This is where your bullet points show up. So right here, and this is where a lot of people are going to make their buying decision. They've looked at your pictures. That's exactly what they want. Now they're going to go in here, and whatever, again, question needs to be answered, but in a succinct format. So if I'm looking for a dino plushie, I want to know about the allergies, the weight, the size, is it machine washable, etc. So we can see here, this is cotton filled with beads, huggable, 3.5 pounds, great gift, multifunctional, etc. When we get down here, see how the product description is kind of overlapped with the A+ content. This is where you can build out more and really, really beef up those keywords. For your pictures, when you're building your listing, you can have your pictures ready to go. You need at least one. It needs to conform to their guidelines. You can click on the guidelines to go find those guidelines. If you add the pictures right when you're making the listing, they will show up right away when the listing goes live. If you just added this one and then the listing went live and you're like, oh, I want to add like 6 more, sometimes it takes a little bit longer to load and or overnight. So keep that in mind. Now we're going to go to product details. Basically, you're going to go through all of these. And what I like to do is clear all the red marks first. And this is another one. When you are building your listings, I like to keep kind of a Word document going of all the verbiage I'm going to do. So I will copy and paste and build out my description, my bullet points, etc. And then when I'm building my listing, I go through and I get all of the red stuff cleared, because the last thing you want to do is clear all these easy reds and then have something that's a game changer pop up. And you've spent, 2 hours filling in all of the details in here. I get people that do that a lot. They're like, oh my God, I spent an hour building this, and then now I can't do it because I need something that's not there. Boy, I don't know if we can get it to go on this one, but we'll see. All right. Customizations. If you do custom embroidery, like let's say you're going to put the kid's name on the dino, that's where you would go through this. It's like a whole nother rabbit trail we won't go down today. Target audience, children. If you have children in here, you will get the toy compliance, period. That's another flag. So if you are building a toy that's for, let's say,
like for old, like think of it if it was a board game for adults, you want to make sure that it has that it's for adults and it's not a child's game.
Exactly.
If it is for children, you have to get the toy compliance. There's really no way around it anymore.
Right. So if it is a board game, you want to make sure that this is target audience, adult, whatever adults you're going to put in there. Because when you go to do your appeal, you can say that my target audience is adults. And you also cannot have children, kids, school, any of those words in your listing.
Or you'll get flagged.
Yes. All right. What I tell people is if it makes sense, fill it out. You have to fill out the red stuff, whether you like it or not, the red boxes. But all the other stuff, you can come back into your listing and update this. Okay. So I will go through and do all the red stuff with them. And then once it's published, then I'm like, okay, now we can go in and do some of these other boxes that would make sense for your listing, but are not required. Okay. Model number, manufacturer. Get a lot of questions on this one. Who's the manufacturer? Who do you want to put in there? If you are a private label person, and let's say this is Tina's Dino Plushies, and you know it was manufactured out in China somewhere, you can put the Chinese manufacturer in there, or you can put Tina's Dino Plushies. And I like to err on the side of Tina's Dino Plushies. With the new regulations on submitting invoices for the manufacturer, do you have any suggestion on one way or another for the manufacturer these days?
Generally, if you are a brand owner and a registered brand, you want to put your name in there. That's the most common practice, because if you actually put the factory in which it is made, skilled Amazon sellers, when they are trying to figure out where you had it made, you just handed it to them on a silver platter, because that is on your Amazon, that is facing on your Amazon listing. So you can look at an Amazon listing, see who the manufacturer is. So if you put, XYZ factory, in China, then they can go to that factory and copy you, or, get it made where you get it made. So I generally suggest, if you're a registered brand, to put you as the manufacturer.
Okay. I would say that too. I have not had anybody, because when you go to brand register, you have to submit an invoice of from your manufacturer. And I haven't had any denied with that. So that's pretty good advice still. Okay, generic keywords. This is probably the most important part next to your title, description, bullet points, generic keywords. It is sometimes called something else besides generic keywords.
It's generic keywords all the time now. It used to be called something else, but now it always says generic keywords.
Nice. It was category based for a long time. Okay. Anyhow, in this place, do not put commas. Do not put colons. Do not duplicate your words. Please, you only get 250 characters. Use them strategically. And I see a lot of people that do this. They're like, weighted dinosaur plush, dino plush, weighted dino. And I'm going, okay, A, capitalization doesn't matter. And B, you've just copied and you've done dino twice and weighted twice, and you've totally messed it up. So, or not messed up, but you don't need to. You're wasting your keywords. So all the obvious ones you're going to put in there. Weighted dino plush and everything around weighted dino plush. Plushie, weighted, kids, children. Then think outside of the box. I would put birthday present for her, Christmas present, or, Christmas presents words related. And then also Why would somebody want a weighted dyno? Is it because they're having trouble sleeping? Is it
Anxiety or
yeah, is it anxiety? Is it a stress reducer? Is there any medical reason why? And also, if a kid has had some reason to be in the hospital, like those types of reasons. Because if I'm going to go visit a kid in a hospital, like I'm going to bring them something, right? And you want to target those shoppers. So think outside the box. You don't have to add all these in right now. Definitely come back to this because you'll change your mind. You'll get more information. You'll think of other things. Like there's a lot of work that goes into here. And that's why I'm like, fill out the red ones first and then go back and fix it up, because you're not going to hit this 100%. This is like a rough draft and you're going to make several drafts. You're going to be modifying. I'm modifying the same listings that I've had for 10 years. So keep modifying it. We have a question here. Amazon approved. What about school bundles with paper, pencils, etc.? Yes, you will. Hey, April from Canada. Nice to see you. If you have lunch bags, pencils, pencil bags,
anything related for children now is getting flagged with toy compliance, children's safety.
Yeah, I know that I have some art supplies that are that's where I've gotten out of the toy compliance for mostly America. I have trouble getting them out of toy compliance in Canada. Just FYI, I don't know. Canada seems to be more particular.
They're stricter. Yeah, Canada seems to be stricter on accounts I work with too.
If you can prove that the school supplies are targeted for over 14 and or adults, then you can sometimes get those appeals to work. And that's where I did. I'm like, my craft things are not for children. My target audience is adults. And I saved my verbiage, but it was something like, this is not meant for children. It is meant for adults. So keep that in mind, but it's not a guarantee. Okay, so we're going to put this Tina's Dino plushies for today. Age range. We're just going to put children. I can't remember if you have to put a date. Is it going to bug it? No. It'll pop up red if you do it wrong. Now, because I use the AI, it's already filled out a lot of these things. Part number. This is where people are like, I don't have a part number. It's a freaking Dino plushie. What?
Make one up.
This is where it's like free CEO, or not CEO, SEO. So I'm going to do pink Dino plush. Sub-brand.
That's not required. Yeah.
This is where theme, I'm going to come back in here. I want to put in maybe some other themes. I can't think of any right this second. I have a listing. Let's see here, April. I have a listing that I want to change the title slightly. Yeah, you can change the title all day long. Finish type. Okay, unit count. This is going to be 1, and it's 1 count. Now, let's say it was ounces or something. Oh, it won't let me do it for this. But if you have a product listing, like when I do Bath and Body Works stuff or any sort of gel, you're going to have either fluid ounces or regular ounces. You're going to need to do that. And that would be like, so let's say you had 16 ounces, you would do 16 fluid ounces here. For manufacturer age in months. Now, this is weird, and I often have to look it up, but I do what I ask the robots. I say, how many months is a 99-year-old person? And I put that in. I can't remember what it is, but it was a lot of months. But we'll just do 999 and
the minimum, yeah.
Let's do 36 months, so 3 years and more. I have no idea what weighted Dino plushies need to be. Okay, so we've cleared all the red. For offer, we're going to clear this out pretty quick. If you are not ready to list this right now, you're going to put 0. Like, I don't want it live. The listing will be there, but nobody's going to be able to find you. That's why I tell people this allows you to look at the listing, but there's no active ones available. If you are doing custom, let's say that you're doing custom and it takes you 5 days to get it embroidered, or you need some extra handling time of some sort, you're going to put that in there. Your price. Oh, pricing. Okay, guys, don't overthink this because you can change your pricing all day long. Like you change your pricing. But the way it looks on Amazon, if let's say this dino plushie is $19.99 and the MSRP is $24.99, but my price is $19.99, and then I have it on sale for $15.99. That's where you're going to get those prices with the slash and the discount. The caveat there, though, is, and they changed this, I don't know how long ago, but they changed it. You have to have so many sales at the 24 or the 19.99 to show that slice out and then have the lower price. If you don't have record of it actually selling at that price, it's just going to show at the cheap price. So, keep that in mind. You can have, I don't ever do my minimum and maximum seller.
I don't either.
I don't care because I repricers and I manually do it. Sale price, if you wanted to put in a sale price, then you need to put the start date and the end date. A lot of people launching products are going to do that. They're going to put that my price is $19.99, the list price is $29.99, and they're going to put in a sale price so that it looks like it's on sale to kind of get those new launches. All right. Item condition, you can only sell these category new, but if it was books, you'd have used, like new, etc. For product tax code, I don't really even do this.
I would just let it default to, I leave it like that.
I default it to minimum order quantity, maximum order quantity. This only time I ever use this setting is if you feel that your competition is going to mess with you. And that happens every once in a while where you have somebody that's evil out there that is like, oh my God, I'm selling dino plushies too. Well, I'm going to buy 200 from you and then I'm going to return them. And then you're like, wait a minute, this person's being a jerk to me. What happened? And you may want to put that in there. Other than that, the other time I have is I have a private label merchant fulfilled seller, and the max they can fit into a box for shipping economically is 3. So they put the max order as 3. So you have to order 3 at a time because that optimizes as shipping for this large like weed whacker thingy. But that's the only other times I use that. So there's just so many things that are like, you're going to look at this and you're going to like, what? Do I need to do that? So just focus on the red. We don't need cosmetic and features and functional conditions and all of that. You can either ship this in yourself or use Amazon FBA. Okay. And then you're going to put in the package length. I'll just leave it as default, but all of these are required. Package length and weight is a requirement. Master packs, I don't really deal with master packs and pallet packs for most things, so we will skip over that. Safety warning. We're going to say none. I don't know. Like, don't smother your child with this dino if they're misbehaving. Country. You can, the most we use is United States, if it's made in the United States. China, which is right there. And then if you go all the way down to the bottom and you don't want people to think it's from China, you can put unknown. It's a little deceitful, but if you truly didn't know, or like April's example with all the different school supplies that you're putting together, if it's from all over the place, then I put unknown. Like batteries. Okay. Probably common sense, but if your product has batteries, please put yes and fill this out here and then do the exemption for batteries. If your product title, I had this one person that was hilarious. They were like, I got to get through these battery. Everything's hung up. I can't, everything's locked down because of the battery. And so I said, okay, well, what's your product? And they said, well, it's a fan, like a travel fan. And I'm like, well, what's the title? And it says travel fan with batteries. And I said, well, did you put that they needed batteries? They go, no, because I didn't want to do that. If your product title literally says product with batteries, guess what's going to need you? Anyhow, we got through it. So battery type, I think that's about it. Mandatory caution. This is important if it makes sense to your product. If you have little marbles, little magnets, little things, balloons, choking hazards, please fill this out. If not, no warning applicable. Okay. Then we've cleared all the red. You can see up here, we have now cleared all the red. This is where I would go ahead and hit the submit button. Yeah, we need to go back through here and really put some work into it. But Amazon's a little glitchy. and you go all the way down to this thing and you can click submit, and sometimes it submits, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you have to click it 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I don't know. It's always been that way. So you can save it as a draft, but I like to submit, and then I like to go and say, what does my listing look like? Where I put the words, what does that look like on the other end? And then look at my competition, go through and farm extra words. And I'll touch on that for 2 seconds. But when I talk about, I call it farming extra words. You can use the Chat GPT. You can go to your competitors. And what I do is I literally take these words right here. I copy and paste them into a Word document. And I will do that for between 3 and 6 different listings. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to scan. I'm going to say, what words do they have that I didn't touch on because that I need to? And I can see that this one comes in a beautiful box and is vacuum sealed. So do I need, what is my packaging? Maybe I want to put something in there. This is great for nap, backrest, room decoration, or travel. Ooh, travel is a good thing. Maybe I want to have a bullet point about travel or add travel in there in any of my generic keywords, description, or bullet points. And then suitable for ages 6 and up. That's a good information to know as well. So I will go through and I will just pick out, whatever words. Maybe I want that word snuggling, comfortable, huggable, travel, etc. And then I will go and put them into my listing and get those updated and maximized on the SEO part. Okay, that's my rant for my thing.
For the listing. The only thing you left out that I would add in, and I know I made a doc about it. We don't have to share it today because we don't really have time. But if you could pull that listing back up, the one thing that I want to touch upon is the AI aspect of the listing. Now, of course, Lucy used Amazon's built-in AI, which is Rufus, to help with the listing. But additionally, right below this dinosaur, we see the little orange and blue icons that say Ask Rufus. So Rufus is already defaulting to the most common things that somebody would ask. Is it machine washable? What age range? Can it be used as a decorative pillow? Those are the top 3. That information should be in your bullet points. Where it says ask something else, Lucy can click that and type her own question. Sometimes we have a question. It also has more defaults in there about, is the fabric hypoallergenic? And it's going to answer you based off of what is in the front end and the back end of your listings. So this is where you can look at your competition and look at what Rufus is pre-defaulting or what are common questions, because today's shoppers are using Rufus because they may be on the main page of all the stuffed animals and Rufus will still appear on the side. So shoppers may be talking to Rufus, as people are getting more and more using the AI, saying, I'm looking for, a pink dinosaur plush that's meant for a little girl that's only this, but whatever it is they're typing in, you need to have the answer to those questions in your listing because that is what actually helps you to rank for it.
And not only that, you can't repeat words up here, but I look at the words up here too for like to beef up the title, because that title was a little bit on the smaller side keyword wise. And I would want to put in there, kid's birthday, probably, the pink, etc. And hypoallergenic, machine washable, if that makes sense. And that is a big key, big part of your listing, put it in here. If not, you definitely want it in your back end. You want it in your bullet points. You want it in your description, etc. I tell people this, when I first look at because people pay me to pick apart their listing, and I'm like, okay, are you ready? Hope you have thick skin. And there's so many times where I'm like, I'm buying a kitchen gadget. I don't know if it can go in the washing machine. And I tell you right now, if I can't answer my question and I'm only going to dishwash things, I'm on to the next product. Like, I'm not going to sit there and give you feedback. I'm not going to spend any more time on your product. I'm going to go to the next one. There's 2 Price is also very important. You know, you want to keep within the price range of your competition, but you need to answer those questions in there or people just move on. I cannot say it any more clearly there. And then I was going to talk about A+ content. We'll probably have to make like a whole thing on A+ content.
Yeah, that will
like
be on another. Yeah, there's so many things to cover, and that can definitely be on another topic. And I also want to teach about how to get your listings discovered to shoppers that are literally using ChatGPT to find inventory. We ran out of time for me to touch upon that today, but we can touch upon it. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's there's just so much that can be involved and so many new changing things. So definitely we can cover that on the next one.
Perfect. Yeah, we've got a lot to do, but this so far we've gone over you know how to find your product. So now you've got your product and you've mocked up your listing. And then the next part, which is going to be next week, is now we've got to get that listing made so that we can get it what we need to the manufacturer and get the manufacturer to send the product to Amazon. And that's what we will talk about next week.
Okay, cool. All right, you guys. Well, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next Sunday.